It is hard to believe a year has passed since Archibald and his necromancer allies were defeated, ending the succession wars. In that time I have been living a nightmare, for I see the ghosts of the fallen all throughout Enroth. I hope my former teacher Amanda is right. I hope moving to a new land, to Antagarich, will still the ghosts of the war. I have met a wizard named Sandro who is conducting research to combat necromancy. He is creating a magical amulet which will ward off the undead and wants to pay me a large sum of gold to find the pieces he needs to construct it. He seems to think me quite the mercenary. When I delivered the amulet of the Undertaker to Sandro, he told me he had also hired a barbarian named Tarek to locate another artifact, the Vampire's Cowl. However, Tarek is long overdue and Sandro fears for his life. From what I can see, bandits have captured Tarek and are holding him for ransom in an underground prison near the Deja border. I begin my quest for the last item Sandro needs, the dead man's boots. Unlike the other artifacts, these may actually be inside Deja, for the borders are in dispute. One thing is certain, there will be several Dejan border lords in the area, and they will not like me being there. This is going to be a tough fight, but it will be worth it. Important things are never free. Sandro has tricked me, but to what purpose? Why would he run off with the dead man's boots without paying me? Did he keep the money for himself? Did he give Etheric the other artifacts? He certainly couldn't have been an agent for Deja. The undead troops I destroyed to get the artifacts were worth more than the artifacts themselves. None of this makes sense. I will have to write to Etheric in Brakata and tell Lord Fayed about this immediately.
The Forest Guard is Arathia's eyes and ears. We go where we are needed most, and that is usually places difficult for traditional fighting forces to reach. We are shadows of the forest that see all and bring silent death with a single unseen bowshot. You have done well in your training, Jielu, but now has come the time to take the final test. A small valley near Gaia's Crest will be the site of this trial. Clear the region of all the enemies to earn your place among the ranks of the Forest Guard. Good luck. Rumor has it that the Ring of Health, one of the essential components of the Elixir of Life, is located in the Shantana region of southern Avli. Time is of the essence, for a Death Knight has been spotted talking to bandits who have long been terrorizing the area, and we believe that he has hired them to find the ring first. The Ring of Life, the second component of the Elixir of Life, is hidden in the Valley of Degron. There lives a group of powerful elven nobility, who are the caretakers of several warrens of gold and green dragons. These dragon lords have always been loyal to Avli, but we fear that one of these lords has been corrupted by the necromancers. If this treacherous dragon lord gets the ring before you, he will become an enemy too powerful for the forces of Avli to withstand. The final artifact needed to construct the Elixir of Life is in the undead hands of the vampire Lord Vakile. It is said the Vial of Lifeblood allows him to sustain himself without having to resort to more distasteful means of bloodletting. Although this artifact can be said to be preventing some evil where it is, our need for the Vial is even more desperate. You must find a way to steal the Vial from this vampire. But keep in mind that not every task need be accomplished by direct means. Use your training wisely, and stay sharp.
I've completed construction of the Elixir of Life and saved Avli from the threat of the Necromancers of Deja, earning myself an honorable position within the Forest Guard. I look forward to my service faithfully protecting this beautiful land I love so much.
After After watching me clobber a pack of goblins in a bar fight, a wizard named Sandro asked me to come to his table. He wants to pay me to find him something called a skull helmet. I'll probably have to bash someone's head in to get it. Sounds like it's gonna be fun. I went back to the tavern to give Sandro this ugly helmet he wanted. Now he wants me to get some kind of sword from a Death Knight. That tin-plated corpse is hiding out in a swamp, so I have to trudge through miles of muck before I get a chance to hack the sword out of his cold dead hands. I got Sandro his cursed sword, and now he wants me to fight more moldy necromancers to get some kind of armor made out of bones. Ha! It'll be their bones I smash! Now that I gave him the Death Knight's sword, Sandro wants me to fight some more necromancers for a shield. More stinking undead to fight. This is not as much fun as I thought. At least this is the last thing I have to find for that puny wizard to get my reward. I've been tricked! The thieving wizard took off with the artifacts and didn't give me my gold. When I find Sandro, I'm gonna rip his arms off and shove him down his lying throat!
All my life I have been studying magic under the wizards of Bracada to please my mother, a genie. But it is the blood of my barbarian father that runs through my veins, and I feel that my hands were meant to carry a sword rather than a staff. Fate seems to agree, for I have received an invitation from Duke Winston Baragas of Krulot to join his army. The time has come for me to leave this place, but I know that my teachers will not permit that without a fight. Since escaping from Bracada, I have been attacked by a number of Krulot's armies. I do not understand why this would be, for I was invited here by the Duke himself. I must travel to the capital to find out why Winston Baragas and all of his forces have turned against me. When I confronted Winston Baragas, he admitted to setting Krulot's armies against me to test my worthiness to join them. At first, I was angry at this deception, until the Duke pointed out that it was I who wanted to be a fighter. The barbarian within me saw his point. But Baragas has a test designed to see whether I am truly ready to part with the wizards of Bracada. I must take the magical Angelic Alliance sword, break it apart, and distribute the pieces throughout Italia, Arathia, and Bracada. I gave up the first piece of the sword, although I had to resist all of my wizardly training to do so. Now I am to find the hut of a seer named Fallon and give him 2 more pieces, the Celestial Necklace of Bliss and the Lion's Shield of Courage. This will be no simple errand, for the Arathians don't take kindly to large armies traipsing across their country. The last of Winston Baragas' tests will take me back to Bracada, my forsaken homeland. I am to find a couple named Beleg and Auric and give them the 2 most powerful pieces of the Angelic Alliance, the Sword of Judgment and the Helm of Heavenly Enlightenment. That will be the easy part, now that I am certain I am ready to give up the ways of magic. The hard part will be fighting my way past Bracada's armies, for they will not be as willing to give me up. I have passed all the Duke's tests, proving I have given up magic forever, and he has accepted me into his barbarian horde. My mother would no doubt be disappointed in me, but now my new Krulot family welcomes me with raised tankards and promises of many adventures to come.
It seems Ethric, my old master, has finally tracked me down. He hasn't been too happy about me becoming a necromancer. He wants to remove the blight from his career. Ethric is no fool. He spread word of my location to those who would stop me. It does not matter. I will defeat these fools, soundly beat my master, and continue on to Deja, where they will appreciate my talents. Ethric just doesn't give up, but I have found an ally. Vinomina is a young wizard with aspirations of being a necromancer. For the time being, she will be useful. But we will part ways once we get past Ethric and into Deja proper. Traveling to Deja, I met Phineas Vilmar, an ambitious but slightly foolish necromancer. He has some holdings here and is trying to increase his realm of power. With my skills of persuasion, he should soon find himself in the position he craves. Of course, I will be the shadow whispering orders into his ear. Soon, Duke Alaris will find himself permanently among the dead. Right now, our plans go well as we prepare to launch an assault. Phineas does not agree with my tactics, but I know that his tactics are certain death. It is only a matter of time before he realizes his error and follows my direction. Soon, he will come to see that he cannot survive without my guidance. Our plan has been a great success. We are quickly on the rise. The king is impressed with Phineas's stunning show of force and ability. Soon, the king will understand the full view of my vision. Then it will be too late for him.
A necromancer is at work here. Peasants all throughout this land are turning up as walking corpses. But no noble or lord has come forward to put a stop to this. I will take it upon myself to destroy this menace.
On my way to visit some relatives in Arathia, I came across a village that had its sacred artifact, the Head of Legion, stolen. The mayor wants the head back, as well as the other pieces of Legion if I can find them. This is just what I need to lift my spirits. Some fun.
This morning I learned Lord Faloral was dead, apparently from poison. What was learned soon afterwards has sent shockwaves throughout all of Avley. He was actually a vampire disguised as an elvish warlord. I must find out who poisoned him and how he came to such a high position within Avley.
When I went to tell Lord Fayette about Sandro tricking me, I learned he left on a mission into Deja while I was searching for the boots and had not yet returned. So I scribed for Lord Fayette and discovered his mission had gone horribly wrong. He had been killed by the necromancers and resurrected as a death knight. Curse all necromancers! There is one last service I can do for my lord. I will grant his soul final peace by destroying the undead body, chaining it to this world. I owe him that much.
We two barbarians were glad to have found each other in this land of strangers. Both of us are following the trail of the necromancers, but I am shocked that their actions seem to have gone unnoticed by Arathian leaders. Crag was not interested in investigating my concern further until I mentioned his glorious battle. That always works with barbarians like him.
Several days ago, the Avley Council of Elders commanded Jim and myself to avenge the deaths of Lord Faloral, Lord Fiet, the Dragon Lords, and all the other victims of the Necromancer's raids. At the border, we encountered this horrific scene. The Dejan Lords must be destroyed before all of Avley is harvested for their undead armies.
4 very brave but foolish heroes have entered my realm. They seek to dissuade me invading Arathia and Avley with their combined forces. However, I welcome that intrusion, for my undead armies could use more recruits. I shall harvest these heroes, and they will pay for their impudence with their eternal souls. It was easy to remove the Avli, Erathian, and Krulad troops from Deja, but the invasion itself will be much more difficult. To launch an offensive that will not leave one border open, we must assault both borders simultaneously. Once again, Phineas wishes me to handle the matter personally. His faith in my abilities is touching, but even a puppet king must someday learn how to command if he is to be an effective tool.
I know this region well. The lords who control this area are loyal to Arathia, but only when it suits them. We must be careful, for they are formidable foes and deeply entrenched. But if we are to locate the pieces of the Angelic Alliance, we may need to persuade these lords to assist us.
Crag and I have been scouring the contested border between Erathia and Krulad for 3 barbarian brothers, each holding one of the artifacts we seek. However, we have been warned that the brothers hardly trust each other, let alone outsiders. They will not give up the artifacts without a fight, for that is what we barbarians do best.
We have collected the pieces of the Angelic Alliance, but Sandro learned of our efforts and blocked our path. The bulk of his army now separates us from each other. We must break through the Necromancer's army and converge upon one point. Once we join the pieces of the Angelic Alliance, we can defeat Sandro. If we fail, he will dominate all of Antagarich. We face the Necromancer in his lair. The time of reckoning has come, that our vengeance must be carried out swiftly. Sandro has sent for reinforcements from others within Deja. Slow-moving as undead are, they will still be here in 4 months. If we have not defeated Sandro by then, he will surely rule all of Antagarich. I shudder at the thought. Failure is simply not an option.
After realizing how corrupting these artifacts are, we decided to split them up into less powerful components and disperse them throughout Antagarich. As for us, we decided to separate as well, to distance our thoughts from a disaster history may never record.
Lord Hart has agreed to take the vial of poison to King Griffinheart. All I must do is leave the vial in Hart's castle after I raid it. Fortunately for me, he has a problem with overpopulation, so I will add his wasted peasants to my own ranks. This will be a good day for harvesting skeletons. To secure the Dungeon Overlord's support, I need to provide them with the gold and wood necessary to build a tunnel. Wood is desperately needed to keep the tunnels from collapsing, and the gold is for paying the workers. The greedy cave dwellers refuse to supply the raw materials themselves. If I did not need their support, I would lock them up in their own underground dungeons. Kriegans are so arrogant. But I have need of their creatures to invade Erathia and crush her military. Without their brute strength, I would not be able to carry out all my plans. So I will play their little game and find their precious artifact, the ever-smoking ring of sulfur. Phineas has discovered that Smeth, an upstart lord, has gotten too ambitious. He is trying to usurp my position as Phineas's top advisor. To calm Phineas, I have agreed to take care of this little matter myself. It will be my pleasure sending the conniving lich to hell. I see. Yes. Phineas is more cunning than I gave him credit for. He tricked me into getting imprisoned for assaulting an innocent lord so that he could rule Deja by himself and steal the credit for my plans to invade Erathia. Well, soon he will realize that I can pull his strings even from my cell and wrap them tightly around his neck.